St Hedges World Series Cup table, after the first two matches have been played, the West Indies have 2 points and Australia 2, but the Australians have also played 2 matches. Cold and rather blustery day at the TCA ground in Hobart. The wind whipping in from the southwest and a temperature of only about 18 degrees. Now with the third ball of the first over, Marshall is the bowler, coming into bowl to Wetamooney, and your commentators are Ian Chappell and Bill Lurry.
It's a good shot, and it's a very short boundary out there. It's also down the hill, and Wetamooney gets the... Well, that's a good delivery. He's beaten not only the batsman, but Jeffrey Dushan with a magnificent leg cutter. So it finishes up being a very good over for Sri Lanka. It's none for 9 after 2. Once again, tremendous bounce there for Ghana. And Wetamooney has taken it on the fingers. He got one the other night in Sydney at the Skyline. And life has been made very difficult at the moment for both the Sri Lankan batsman and Jeffrey Dushan.
What a beautiful delivery. Malcolm Marshall bowling to the left-hander.
Ghana to Silva.
Well, that's a tremendous delivery. Well taken by Jeffrey Dushan. And that ball coming off the glove. And Amal Silva didn't even hang around to wait for the umpire. He was on his way.
Piece of bowling and Amal Silva out for 4, but no discredit to him. Great piece of bowling from Joel Garner.
To Wetamooney. Must be out. Vivian Richards. Straightforward catch. Wetamooney goes, and Joel Garner is posing awful problems out there this morning on a very lively surface.
Not only is Richards, so Siddharth Wetamooney out. Caught Richard Joel Garner 8, and the second wicket is down.
Just misjudged, I think. For one moment, Michael Holding thought it was coming straight.
Courtney Walsh again. And Krupu there just moving inside the line of the ball.
Was well caught. Very safe pair of hands, Richie Richardson, and brilliant hands as well, as we saw during the Test match series.
See the ball dropping, and he completes an excellent catch to send Krupu back to the pavilion for 8. So the third wicket is down, and Sri Lanka in trouble.
And that's off the outside edge, but it's gone away and could go away for 4. It does. So Dulip Mendes brings up the 50. With a fortunate shot, but nevertheless he went for it and got 4. And he's walked that right back over the bowler's head, and that'll go for 4 more.
Beautifully struck. That one was a much better shot.
Courtney Walsh through his 10 overs in succession with Walsh. And that's lifted over the head of square leg. That's a lovely shot by Dias. He really put little effort into that shot and just lifted it over mid-wicket for 4. Chase here for Larry Gomes, and he just gets around and fumbles it. Well, the vice-captain there, a blemish against his fielding record, had it in control, got around well, and then
No one back on the offside. That's where he wants to hit them. And that one running away down to backward point for 4. So he's got a really good eye. Anything short, he's going to flay away outside off stump, and when it's pitched up as well, he's going to look to hit it over the top in that area. For the Sri Lankans.
As Tommy cuts, and he does it well. Races out backward a point for 4 runs. Dulip Mendes prepared to play his shots, brings up the 100.
There he goes again, straight into the gap. That's not good bowling by Viv Richards. You cannot bowl off spinners short and outside off stump to this bloke, or in fact to anybody. Only 40 balls for his 33 runs. He's hit that straight down the ground. That may be 6. It is. Beautiful shot. Over the top of mid-off, way down the boundary there. A lovely straight hit.
Excellent tactics and a pause from Roy Dias as well. Excellent shot. Beautifully placed, 16 runs off 4 deliveries.
Here he goes again. He loves it on that offside. Moving backwards he is, giving himself lots of room. Hitting it down to the deep extra cover boundary. 20 runs off that over from Viv Richards, and Sri Lanka 3 for 160.
Walsh to Roy Dias.
Oh, and a big appeal there. He's given out. Roy Dias out. Caught by Jeffrey Dujon off the bowling of Courtney Walsh.
Down still, Dujon took a straightforward catch and a vital breakthrough. It was a good partnership. Roy Dias showing us again he's a fine batsman out for 28.
He'll have to keep it up as well, otherwise he'll go. That's one hit beautifully again, straight down the wicket, and it was really middle. That really did sound lovely and sweet at the back.
Oh, beautiful shot, Tony. Hit it on the up, hit it straight, brings up his 50. Round of applause.
He's not going to stop there either. That one, he's got to way down to square leg. He may get 4 more. He does. Well, I don't know whether the Viv Richards is going to be smiling for much longer. There was a little smile on his face when they took 20 off the over. Well, that's disappearing pretty quickly.
Well, that's 8 off 2 deliveries. The first one was a massive off drive. That one was whipped away.
Well, he's got that away. It's running quite quickly away down to deep fine leg. Desmond Haynes chasing away down there. They're coming back for the third. This might be close. He's going to be out. He's gone. Biles. Oh, what a disaster that was. He's played such a lovely hand as well. The captain of Sri Lanka, Dilip Mendes, out, run out.
Well, he was after the strike. He was looking for that third run. It was never really on. He's not quick between the wickets. And Desmond Haynes with a very good throw caught him out just inside the rope. For anybody else but Mendes, it was 3. He was very, very slow. An excellent return, and the captain run out at the end of a great innings. Big round of applause as he departs here. Sad end, 56 run out for Dilip Mendes.
Holding to Ravi Ratnayaka.
Shy at the stumps there by Richards, and that must have been pretty close. Well, he was just allowing the ball to pass past the front of him there, and could well have resulted in him being run out.
Comes in, picks it up, turns and throws. And the batsman just home, but what a brilliant piece of work.
Consider conditions here, and another boundary coming up as the left-hander. Oh, he's got him, attempting to pull the shorter, faster delivery, and the batsman perhaps believing that he'd heard a no-ball call or something, but he waited for the umpire to signify the fact that he was out bowled.
Quite extraordinary. Saw his wicket go over. I rather agree with you, Ian. I think he must have heard a call of no ball from somewhere in the crowd. Anyway, he's out. Beau Richards for 8.
And there's the shot that he attempts to loft over the covers, but unfortunately he's picked out that marvellous fielder Roger Harper in the covers, and nothing gets by him.
And Roger Harper immediately into the action. The safe hands of Roger Harper. So he's out, caught sub. Beau Richards for 8.
Aravinda De Silva, well caught there by Harper. Oh, and there's the backhand. Well, I don't know that you'd actually call it a cut, seeing it's been played off about the leg stump. It's almost the backhand leg glance. 7 for 153.
Ghana comes in now to Rumesh Ratnayaka.
Off the edge and just wide of Jeffrey Dujon, and beats the outstretched boot of the third man, goes over the boundary line, and a much needed 4 to Sri Lanka, takes them to 159.
And over at one stage. Well, that's gone miles in the air, high up, and it may be safe. Will it be? Oh, well caught. No, it wasn't. I think that may well have gone over the boundary, taken down there by Michael Holding, but he's gone over the line.
And that's the type of hitting the Sri Lankans.
Michael Holding charging around the boundary. Looked as though he had it for a moment and then just helping it over the line for 6 runs.
Garner comes in now to Rumesh Ratnayake.
He's done it over the top there, down towards square leg. Hasn't quite hit it in the middle of the bat, and Desmond Haynes will prevent it from going for 4. Pretty difficult to hit a boundary on that side of the ground today.
Malcolm Marshall to Rumesh Ratnayake.
Well played. He smashed that through extra cover. On the up, in fact. Gus Logie very quick down there, managing to get the ball back and then having to hurdle the Toyota sign down there. Right over the top. What a lovely throw. Desmond Haynes. A few problems. Oh, he's hit that, Miles. That's gone way over the top of the crowd, down into the groundsman's backyard. What a big 6 that was. Massive 6 from Yurvay Karanane. What a way to finish the innings off. Certainly been hit around the body and on the fingers a fair bit. And that's hit straight down the ground. Logie stretches his hand out there. Winston Davis is on the ground as 12th man. And he manages to cut it off. They get 2. And so Sri Lanka end up 7 down for 100.
Looking scoreboard at the end of the innings, Mendes 56 and Roy Dias 28. 2 of those in double figures. Then Yurvay Karanane not out 20, and he bowled very well. None for 38, no reward there for some super bowling. Garner 2 for 19 in 10 overs and 1 maiden. Holding a wicket was almost unplayable at one stage earlier this morning, so too Garner. First ball of the second over, it's Ravi Ratnayake coming in to bowl to Desmond Haynes. Your commentators Tony Greig and Ian Chappell.
And Ravi Ratnayake starts with a half volley, which Desmond Haynes gives some fearful hammer to.
That is a beautiful shot by Desmond Haynes.
And a similar sort of delivery. Bit of outswing, but Haynes just hitting with the swing. He's in tremendous form. He scored a century at the MCG and carrying right on here at the TCA ground. He hasn't started too well here at the TCA ground. 3 boundaries coming in his first over.
It's another lovely shot. On that occasion, the ball from Ravi Ratnayake very short.
John comes in to bowl to Haynes.
There's another nice shot from Desmond Haynes. That ball going down the leg side, certainly on leg stump, and played away nicely by him.
There'll be 4 more. Really is a short boundary down there, and the ground also slopes in that direction. 23 facing the Norton John.
Haynes gets it away. 4 more. He's very strong off his pads. Haynes deflects nicely. What a great one-day player he is.
Well, we saw that shot played so frequently at the MCG on Sunday during his century there.
They're pacing themselves, need 198 for victory. Beats him, gone, yes, got an edge. Good delivery, the outswinger. That was the break they needed. A delighted Sri Lankan side rushes in and Rumesh breaks through. Very good delivery.
And there was the man who was really going. Now Desmond Haynes out for 32, and the West Indies are 1 for 50.
Richie Richardson is the batsman. Here's Ravi Ratnayake.
Richardson gets it away, fine, and that's 4. We just can't afford to bowl leg stump to Richie Richardson. That's his strength, whether it's square or fine. He got plenty of bat onto that one. He's gone for that one over cover. It's a very confident shot. That's 4 more, 9 runs off the over. It's 1 for 59.
Rumesh Ratnayake to Greenwich.
Well bowled, a bit of bounce, but gets enough bat on it to pick up 2 runs. Greenwich struggling between the wickets, and it goes for 4. That's how short and fast this outfield is. It's a very thick edge, and Greenwich gets that one away, his favourite pull shot. And the race is out for 4 runs. 72 for 1.
Would have been a great catch, Aravinda de Silva.
Ramesh Ratnayaka could have quite easily have picked up his second wicket. Getting off the ground, just the one hand to it. But that was struck a little better by Greenwich. Just forced its way through that right hand.
There's a good shot. Straight over mid-off. Just a few yards inside the boundary. Nicely played. He didn't hit across it at all. Once he made up his mind to go for it, just went through with the stroke.
It's in the air and dropped at point. That's Ramesh Ratnayaka at point, putting down what was a relatively simple chance.
Ratnayaka, the culprit.
Greenwich not having any trouble with the square cut, places it beautifully, and they really do race down that hill. That brings up the 50 stand.
And the West Indies.
The outswinger, and beautifully saved there at point by the fielder there. That's Aravinda de Silva. He's the best fielder at the SCG for Sri Lanka.
Continuing the assault.
That's a good shot from Gordon Greenwich. Wasn't a bad ball at all. He was very quickly into position. And that's a half century for Gordon Greenwich.
Very finickety, Samachandra.
Another boundary as Gordon Greenwich decides he's worked out the wiles of the leg spinner. And he's going to do something about changing. One in the air, the skipper Dulip Mendes thought it was going further. I think he started to take off for the deep, but it was a real mishit from Greenwich.
Good performance by Samachandra de Silva again with the leg spin.
That's gone away down to square leg and just over the line. Yes, 6 signalled. So Richie Richardson hitting that one away just behind square on the leg side for 6.
De Silva's final over.
De Silva to Greenwich.
That's down the ground, high and wide. He's going to be out, is he? Yes, he's caught. Nicely taken down there in the deep. Karupu, the fieldsman down there, moved a long way across to his right and took the catch well.
That was an excellent catch. Gordon Greenwich hitting with De Silva strikes. Good spell of leg spin bowling. He's out for 61.
Kaslogi takes strike. Ravi Ratnayaka is the bowler.
Oh, that's 6. Smashed away right over the top of the scoreboard onto the roof of the indoor centre down there. What a good shot that was. Ravi Ratnayaka dropping one short and being dispatched out of the ground.
Kaslogi hitting a real 6. That was a boomer. Beautiful.
Kaslogi taking strike. Karanane is the bowler.
Oh, and that's a full toss hit straight down the ground. Will it carry the boundary? Not quite. Just short of the boundary. And so 4 runs to Kaslogi.
Yes, hitting into the gale on that occasion. It was beautifully struck. Picked up the full toss. The wind held.
And that one down the leg side, and Logie getting it fine. And managing to beat the fieldsman down there too. So the runs really are flowing. Oh, and that's smashed away as well. Another 6. Well, he likes him in that area. Kaslogi, every time he gets one down there, he hits it down to square leg for 6.
And he hits it as clean as a whistle. There he goes. There's a man down there. He doesn't get to it. It's 4 more. Aravinda de Silva straying to leg stump. 11 off the over. 2 for 190. There they go. They've streamed onto the ground. 2 for 198. Richardson 52, Rogie 33, extras 19, 2 for 198, and the West Indies.
98 their scorecard at the end. Greenwich 61 and Haynes 32, and a half century to Richie Richardson, and a good innings from Gus Logie, who came in to take the place of Clive Lloyd, who's not playing in this game. Richards was. He takes the West Indies on to 4 points in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup table. They have those points from 2 matches. Australia 2 points from 2, and Sri Lanka not yet off the mark. And an atmosphere here at the Gabba today. A crowd of round about 20 to 22,000, even before a ball was bowled. The points table in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup. West Indies have 6, Australia 2, Sri Lanka none, and Australia desperate for 2 points today to stop West Indies going to too big a lead. The team changes for today's match. Desmond Haynes, after that leg injury he suffered in Hobart, comes back into them. Then Wood, Hilditch, Vessels, Boone, O'Donnell, the young all-rounder from Melbourne, Rickson, Bennett, Lawson, McDermott, and Greg Ritchie once again is 12th man for Australia. The West Indians, with Clive Lloyd skippering and Viv Richards the vice-captain, have Desmond Haynes and Richie Richardson, Larry Gomes, then Logie, Dujon, Marshall, Holding, Garner, Davis, and Roger Harper is 12th man. There's a buzz around the ground with the first ball of the day.
And it's Malcolm Marshall coming from the Vulture Street end.
Quite a strong appeal there from Malcolm Marshall and the wicket-keeper. But umpire Stephen Randall, absolutely. Oh, and that's a brilliant delivery. Beats Wood and the keeper once again. Joel Garner did. Yell of catch him, but it goes wide of the man at backward square leg, and also beats Michael Holding at fine leg. That's the first boundary from the bat this morning. None for 21. Richards. Oh, and if he'd hit him, it was trouble, but instead 4 overthrows for Australia. So a quick 5 there to Andrew Hilditch.
That's a lovely shot. That's the best shot we've seen so far. Really got into that very quickly, middle of the bat. Well placed, and it could go. It does, in fact, go all the way. Ozzy. Well, that's a very confident appeal down the leg side. There was some noise. Dujon reckoned it was bat. Umpire Randall reckoned it was not.
Difficult for the umpire.
And that's gone. So Hilditch goes caught at first slip by Joel Garner. Usual, you find Garner there. Davis picks up a wicket, and if it was a mistake by umpire Randall, the last over, when there was that
by Winston Davis, picking up the wicket of Andrew Hilditch for 19 in Australia in the 16th over, 1 for 49.
Michael Holding bowls now to Vessels.
Oh, he's dropped him. Well, that would have been a good catch. It was played away down towards third. Vivian Richards. And it's a big appeal there for caught behind. He's gone. Wood out straight away. Off the bowling of Vivian Richards. A good catch that by Dujon. He was trying to run it away down to third man, I think. Got a big edge.
And only succeeding in getting a top edge to the ball, and it went straight into the hands, slotted into the hands of Geoffrey Dujon. Good catch, not a big deflection. The second Australian wicket down for 77, Wood out for 38.
A certain amount of pain attached to that shot by Alan Border. Just think how much worse it would have been if he'd been hit by Michael Holding or Joel Garner.
And Lloyd is giving him the count. Let's put him down for the compulsory 8 count.
That's beautifully placed. That's where they won't want to bowl to Kepler Vessels. You can bet your life Lloyd has told Winston Davis. Clive Lloyd. Oh, yes. Well, he might be 40 years of age, but it doesn't stop him pulling off one of the better run-outs we're likely to see this summer. And Borden knew he was in trouble there. That was confirmed for him just a second or so later.
It's 3 for 97. Vessels 25, Boone on 4. Australia 3 for 107.
LBW, and Vivian Richards has struck again. David Boone has gone, and I suspect that might have been his little swinger, the quicker ball, just giving a slightly quicker delivery that hurried on. 4 for 107. Quite a task for you.
Well, what a magnificent catch. It was a good piece of fielding by Roger Harper. But just have a look at Vivian Richards. That was really fired in, going 100 miles an hour. Well, a baseballer would be delighted with that.
Australians have got themselves into a little bit of a hole here. 150, or should we say one short of 150. Well, that's away through the field, down to the third man boundary for 4 off Richards. Help things a little bit. But with 10 overs to go, they really need to score another 100 runs to be in the hunt in this. He's out. Hit it straight to extra cover. Gus Logie fielding there. Makes the catch. That was hit very firmly by Vessels. He's very good in that area. And it was right off the middle of the bat, but straight to the fieldsman.
He's with a wicket.
It's a good catch by Logie. Knocked right over there. Vessels on his way. 5 for 153. Oh, there's a terrible mix-up here. If Lloyd hits, he's out. And he's done it again. What a fieldsman. He doesn't often miss those stumps. That's twice today that Lloyd has achieved direct hits. And as a result of that mix-up, Simon O'Donnell is outrun out.
15 years when he was one of the most accurate throwers in the game, but he still is. Very close indeed, but O'Donnell not quite getting home.
So 6 for 160. Oh, and Rickson's coming. There's a big no. This is out by Miles. Yes, he is. Well, there's never any doubt about the fact that one of these two are going to run themselves out. And on that occasion, Rickson deciding to run, despite the fact that Bennett was stuck to the crease down the other end. What a terrible mix-up.
For 162. Just managed to get home.
Nice shot. Beautiful shot by Lawson. Garner hangs his head. He obviously didn't want to bowl it outside off stump. Oh, and that one's in the air and it's caught. Obviously it didn't come off the bat, off the arm, but he's given him out. I got the feeling the finger came up there, unless he was making a gesture of some other sort. No, he's been given out. Lawson obviously in a lot of agony there, the ball having hit him on the arm. And they did turn for the single. Have a look at it.
Well, where did it come from? It was a bloody good catch by Dujon, typical athleticism, but he had to change his direction and leap to get it. 8 for 171.
Marshall to Murray Bennett.
Yes, he's got him. Nicely taken. A little nod of the head there from Steve Randall, who's down at the Stanley Street end. He watched the ball and it was taken just above the ground by Gus Logie.
The nod of the head from umpire Steve Randall. Hasn't been in the big time for some time, Logie, and coming back with 2 catches now. Bennett out for 3. It's 9 for 173.
Oh, he did well there. He backed away, and he's got that away down to the deep extra cover boundary. Pretty good shot for number 10. They're going to run. It's down to Joel Garner. Will there be another run out? Yes. There is. Well, they had to run for that one. It was the last ball by them in the field.
Well, the Australians, a couple of Vessels, 47 from 75 balls, nowhere near scoring a run off every ball faced. 25 to Simon O'Donnell, who's shaping all right as the all-rounder in the side. 38 to Graham Wood and 19 to Hilditch. They put on 49 for the first wicket, but after that it was only Vessels and O'Donnell, 46 from 10 overs, who were able to push the game away from the West Indians. The bowling figures for the West Indies: Marshall 1 for 42, Garner 1 for 33, Holding none for 31, Davis 1 for 37, bowled pretty well today, and so too did Richards in his new style, alternating swing with spin. 3 for 38 in 10 overs and no maiden, and 3 run-outs there, or 3 assisting run. Indian run chase now in the very first over. Jeff Lawson is bowling to Desmond Haynes. No runs on the board at this moment.
Well, Haynes off the mark. That one going down towards the square leg boundary. They'll probably go for 3. Richie Richardson very quick between the wickets. Yes, Desmond Haynes off the mark, and he's a pretty useful player. He scored against Australia in one-day cricket 4 hundreds out of the 5 most recent matches. He's hit that one down to square leg, and Hogg getting himself in a terrible tangle there. Perhaps he should have taken a punt and come forward and tried and made the catch. And that's hit away beautifully. It's a short, wide ball, and Desmond Haynes. It's in the air, just wide of the slip cordon and down for 4. Well, that's what happens when you really go after them. Perhaps 4th. Oh, and again through the slip cordon. This time, I think Boone may just have got a finger to it. It was a little bit late going. It was quite wide and went very quickly. Oh, well played. He has smashed that through the gap. Oh, that's a good shot. Straight over the top of Rodney Hogg's head. Having been relatively economical, all of a sudden the wheels are falling off now.
It's a good shot. Picked the gap on that occasion. And Rodney Hogg.
O'Donnell now to Haynes.
O'Donnell also too short. And Haynes really is playing with gay abandon. With 5 overs, 1 maiden, none for 22 against his name. And he's got him. First ball. Richie Richardson edges a shortish delivery back onto his middle stump. And the Brisbane crowd delighted as the Queensland youngster picks up a wicket with his first ball.
Craig McDermott to start with, but he seems to have Richie Richardson in some difficulty this season. 1 for 50 in the 12th over.
Gomes takes strike now to McDermott.
Oh, he's got him as well. Larry Gomes has dragged one back on. So, Craig McDermott with a couple of...
That's all that these spectators here at the Gabba needed to bring them alive. West Indies coasting home, apparently. A very good start, replying to 191, and 2 wickets in the very first over from McDermott, and the crowd is back alive, and it's 2 for 50.
It's a nice outswinger there from O'Donnell. Once again, Alan Border getting a finger to it. Those fingers really have taken a pounding this season. Border
the Australian 1 wicket. and has scored 64.
Not very far away from being the third player to play on. Must be gone. Yes, it is. Simon O'Donnell has got through. Rodney Hogg, the catch. Miscued, almost looked as though it came from the bottom of the bat, and that's well done, young O'Donnell.
Tries to turn that ball on the leg side. Obviously, the ball moved. Leading edge, lob to mid-on. 3 for 74.
Lloyd taking strike. O'Donnell is the bowler. One shot for 4. And Lloyd's away already. 3 for 78 in 19. It's in the air for 4. Actually quite well played by Richards. There's nothing hurried about that. He waited on it and just flicked it away. Good shot. Beautiful stroke from Viv Richards. Three for 93.
And Richards helping himself, or at least 15 runs coming from the last over.
Another splendid stroke. 3 glorious shots from these two players already in partnership. 2 of them from Lloyd, a cover drive, and then...
The big cat gets hold of him, and what a great shot, a beautiful shot. A third man fine, a third man square, and he bisects that position. Beautifully played, Clive Lloyd.
Third bounce.
Oh, what a shot! What a beautiful shot. 11 runs off the over. A man of this... Oh, there it goes. It's a man out there, but it's going to clear him. Over the fence he goes. Clive Lloyd at his best.
Simon O'Donnell becoming just a little frustrated.
He's after Bennett. What a shot. Oh dear, oh dear. Got onto the front foot and he slashed him through point. Gabba seeing a feast of batting at the moment. He goes for it. Finds a gap at square leg, and that's 4 more. Making cricket look easy. It's not as easy as all that. Used his feet and whipped it over square leg.
38.
And that's hit magnificently. Absolutely no chance there for the man. And that's gone way over mid-on, just missing the press box and the scorer's box here, and going well back into the crowd.
What a shot this is. Have a look at the power just outside off stump, and the pose there as Vivian Richards simply hits through the line, and it goes miles down the ground. Beautiful straight hit for 6.
In the air, and just clearing David Boone. Could be out. Well taken at mid-on by Alan Border. And Richards out, just 1 short of his 50. He doesn't seem too bothered about it. In fact, he's been in a very relaxed mood.
And that brings to an end a very lively 46 from the West Indian vice-captain. Scoring 9, correct? And he's out. Court Border, bowled Hogg, 4 for 172.
Hogg comes in to bowl to Logie.
A beautiful shot. Very strong through the covers, just with a flick of the wrist there. Gus Logie beats. And that'll be a boundary. And that brings up Clive Lloyd's 50. Second in 2 days for him at the Gabba.
And he hasn't been dismissed this weekend.
An appeal there for a catch down leg side. And Gus Logie is on his way. Well taken by Steve Rickson. And a well-earned wicket there for Simon O'Donnell.
Said earlier, his direction later on with the older ball in. And Logie was walking before the umpire's finger went up. 5 for 188.
David Boone is the bowler from Tasmania. Jeffrey Dujon takes strike.
And there it is. There it is. Victory to the West Indies by 5 wickets. Just 1 minute earlier than their victory over Sri Lanka yesterday.
6 from 67 balls. Viv Richards 49 from 62 after he'd struggled early on a little bit against McDermott and then took the long handle to him. And Clive Lloyd 52 in 61 balls to go with those 3 run-outs. 5 for 195. And the bowling figures, Lawson, well, he bowled much better than that. 10 overs, 1 maiden, none for 35. Hogg 1 for 41. O'Donnell 2 for 47, over 5 runs per over. And McDermott broke through, bowling very, very fast to take those 2 wickets. Bennett expensive, 3 overs for 21. And what a tremendous effort it was this weekend by the West Indians, taking 4 points to give them 8 in all in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup table. Australia languishing there on 2. Welcome to the highlights of this day-night clash between Australia and the West Indies at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A vital match this for today's match. In for Australia comes Greg Ritchie. He replaces Andrew Hilditch, who goes to 12th man. In comes Bob Holland, and out goes Rodney Hogg. Well, Tony Greig reported from the centre that the pitch was in very good shape, thought it'd be a good batting pitch, and that the fast bowlers, although there might be a little bit of bounce there, wouldn't get all that much. Ball of the day now. Malcolm Marshall is the bowler. He's bowling to Graham Wood, and your commentators are Tony Greig and Frank Tyson.
So it's Wood and Vessels out there, and it's going to be very interesting to see whether their tactics against this West Indian side are going to change at all. Marshall on his way. Straight away, the Australians off the mark to a big cheer from this huge crowd. Back comes Wood. There's always a sense of urgency about his running between the wickets.
Four runs. Whereas Garner and Marshall gave him absolutely nothing. Already in this over, Michael Holding has had 6 runs taken in the offside.
Scores from it.
Could be out. There's a man getting under it away down there at long leg and grasps it very well indeed. Winston Davis takes the wicket. Michael Holding ambles around for the catch and
Got down there. So Australia losing their first wicket in the 14th over. That of Graham Wood out for 21. Australia 1 for 42.
Kepler Vessels being sent in to open the batting once more.
Vessels.
That'll go for 4. Would have been straight down first slip slope. But that's one-day cricket for you.
That's nicely played away. It's one of the rare loose balls, and Vessels hitting it away for 4. Boone will be looking over the top of mid-off and hoping to hit one in that direction. Vessels is coming back, and Boone is fast asleep. I can't believe it. Boone has said no, and he stood there. Vessels wasn't even looking at him and just charged down the wicket.
Well, that's what happens when you get yourself in a hole. You become desperate, you lose your concentration. Boone scampering down. The throw wasn't good. We see Vessels coming. Boone reaving after the ball had gone, and he was out by 3 metres. And the second breakthrough, a tragedy for Australia. Boone run out for 20, and it's 2 for 103.
Got to be out. And a no ball call. Got to be in.
The crowd cheer. Michael Holding queries the umpire. Where did my foot land?
That's what he has to do.
Captain's courageous.
Being just an off spinner. And he's out. Brilliantly stumped by Dujon. And that's what Richards has done. He's turned himself from being just an off spinner into a swing bowler as well. And his variation has been the thing that has posed so many problems. And he's had 3 stumpings.
Wide of the off. In the end, Vessels couldn't reach it. And Dujon had those bells off in a flash. So Vessels, the end of a patient innings, he's out for 63, 3 for 137.
Holding to Bordeaux. Neat deflection. I think Holding anticipated he was going to give himself some room there. Fired it round about leg stump.
That's pretty well hit, and it finds the gap. A much needed boundary from that Greg Ritchie hook shot. Richards, this could be interesting. Oh, and he's hit them. He's just got the edge of the off stump and just tipped one bail off. I thought for a moment he'd missed, but his record's pretty good. And once again, Vivian Richards has struck in the field.
Magnificent piece of fielding. And an Allen, and then he decided to go, and Richards picking up, summing it up, having a good look and just hitting the base and deflecting past Clive Lloyd. Alan Border not even bothered to look at umpire Ray Isherwood. So Alan Border run out 24, and Australia really struggling in this 44th over, 4 for 161.
That's a good shot, beautifully timed.
Good straight hit down the ground, and that goes all the way. Well hit, Simon O'Donnell. That's the type of strong arm tactics Australia need now.
Has to be, young man.
Down the ground, Desmond Haynes down there, over his head. That's gone. And it could be 6. The umpire's looking and asking. And still no signal. They're signaling 6 behind Desmond Haynes. He doesn't know. And he signaled 6. So it's gone for 6. Great hit.
And hit straight. That's the way to go. Full follow through for 6.
Bowled off stump. He was going one way, the ball was going the next. But a fine effort by Simon O'Donnell. Bowled for 17 by Malcolm Marshall. 4 balls remaining.
Beautifully bowled. Simon O'Donnell in a dangerous mood. Could have picked up another 10 runs, but he came at him. It was a Yorker. Hit the off stump. The young man giving himself some room. As bowled as clean as a whistle. And it's 5 for 197.
So the last ball of the innings, Australia 5 for 199, Malcolm Marshall to Steve Rickson. And they get 200 exactly. The West Indies will require 201, exactly 4 runs and over. Steve Rickson coming in late. Good job by Greg Ritchie. But until the end, rather a disappointing innings for Australia and a disappointing performance before this very big crowd.
Wood 21, Vessel 63 from 133 balls, Boone 20 from 41 and Border 24 from 51 balls faced. A good partnership at the end between Ritchie and O'Donnell, 36 from only 6 overs. The West Indian bowling, very accurate today. Marshall and Garner bowled quite beautifully early on, 1 for 38 and none for 44 respectively, but they contained the Australians brilliantly. Holding none for 36 Davis 1 for 31, and Richards 1 for 41. We pick up play now with the first ball of the West Indian innings. Lawson is the bowler, Desmond Haynes taking strike, and with me in the commentary box is Ian Chaplin. Not only did they take a single from it, but it's as though the ball hadn't been bowled as well, because Lawson to Richardson. Richie Richardson has gone. Umpire Ray Isherwood giving the decision there. And Australia have broken through.
Judges Richardson LBW to Lawson for 9. It's 1 for 23.
Here's Craig McDermott now coming from the Southern or Randwick end. 1 for 23. Out. Haynes goes. No doubt about that. McDermott strikes. Haynes trying to loft over the infield inside the 15 overs. Simon O'Donnell's in the game again, having batted strongly at the end of Australia's first innings. And Australia have 2.
Time at all. It's 2 for 23 with Haynes out for 13.
Viv Richards, the new batsman, 2 for 23. Good catch. Good cricket. McDermott with pace has got through Gomes. Crowd has gone wild. Brilliant piece of work from the Australians. Way to the
Side. The West Indies with their 3rd wicket down. Harry Gomes for a duck. And just 25 runs on the board.
Well, that's a beautiful shot. There's no way in the world that Murray Bennett's going to be able to bowl. And a short cover. They're the 2 men that are in the catching positions. Oh, and he's hit that way down the ground. That's going to be 6. Over the top. Beautiful shot by Vivian Richards. And without being too severe on the bowler, one would have to question these tactics by Alan Border in the circumstances. Simon O'Donnell, I'd say that'd nearly be the first time in his career. His first delivery put over for a big 6. Over to the top he goes again, and that's down to the boundary. So 2 balls have gone in this over, and already the West Indians have taken 10 from it. I really would have to say that Alan Border, to win this game, their bid to win these one-day games. And away he goes again. There's no way in the world that Simon O'Donnell can have another man out, you see, because he's had imposed upon him the rules within the 15 overs. Richards 14 off this over so far. And that's another 4, may even be 6. 1 bounce into the boundary, 18 off the over. And you'd have to feel sorry for that very inexperienced young man. He's got to be taken out of the attack now. We've got to get back to the front-line bowlers. 3 for 57.
It's time, it's a full toss, and that's going to be 4. What a shot. Just a fraction full. There's a man at long on, there's a man at backward square leg, but Lloyd found the gap, and it races away for 4, and it's 3 for 79. Well, there's a man out there, but it's going to go over his head by a mile. What a hit! 6 big ones. Clive Lloyd, realising that the run rate was dropping, used his feet and hit it a country mile over a long off for a magnificent 6.
To go for that 3rd run.
That's 4. Too short. Maybe that... And he's got him this time. They're separated. McDermott has done it. And I followed Tony Cozier's reasoning because he's a little bit lucky there, McDermott. He had no slips in. Whereas he had 2 earlier when he was bowling within the 15 overs and then was taken off. Now the ball had to go to the keeper. And the Australians were a little bit lucky that it did.
Clive Lloyd just hands the note over to Viv Richards, captain to vice captain. Look at those expressions on the faces of Richards and McDermott as the West Indies are 4 for 115.
Been there for Gus Logie. Over the top of backward point.
Well, it goes all the way for 4, but it wasn't a convincing shot. Off the top edge, and perhaps luckily a policewoman just beyond the boundary. Well, there's no question of that hitting any edge. That came off the middle of the bat, right down the ground, and went over the ropes into the crowd. Telston Payne once more. It's all to do with the possibility of rain, what the West Indies would need after a certain amount of overs to win the match. There's the comparison.
He's gone, inside edge. Came back a long way. Lawson's first ball in the new spell, and Rickson got it. I'm not sure that he didn't juggle it.
Did come back a long way. Not very often you get the catches off the inside edge from a drive. So Gus Logie out for 12, disappointment. The West Indies 5 for 138. We have a cricket match.
It's a full toss and hit in the air, but just wide of the fieldsman. Forward a square leg, down to the boundary at deep mid wicket for 4. Oh, and that's an edge, flying away down towards fine third man. There's no one down there. And look of despair on the...
He makes it. Zahir 7 in 49. O'Donnell bowling his 8th over. Over the top of cover. For a backward point, a boundary and a century to Viv Richards. And he now has more centuries in limited over internationals than anybody else.
Well, the crowd that didn't greet Viv Richards too warmly now rise to their feet to congratulate him on a magnificent 100 runs. A 100 that certainly has saved West Indies. The scores are now level on Richards' 100, coming off 121 deliveries.
And the bouncer. Richards thought it was going for 4 for a moment, and Jeffrey Dujon had to coerce him into running the single, which gives West Indies 5 victories in 5 games.
They lost those 3 wickets for 25. McDermott had ripped through 2 of them and Lawson the other one. Richardson going at 23, Haynes at 23 and Gomes at 25. Then Richards and Lloyd 90 from 18 overs in only 76 minutes. What a performance from those 2 great players. And Richards going on with assistance from Logie and Dujon. The last partnership, Dujon and Richards, 63 unbroken, 52 minutes and only 14 overs. The bowling figures for Australia, a pretty good performance from them, from Lawson, who took 2 wickets, and McDermott 3. But the spinners were very, very expensive, having 90 taken from... In the points table for the Benson Hedges World Series Cup, they've now gone to 10 points. The Australians are 2, and Sri Lanka have no points at all. The next match, West Indians have 10, Australia 2, and Sri Lanka no points so far. The team changes for today. West Indies have left out Lloyd, Garner, and Gomes, who's been made 12th man. In comes Gordon Greenwich, who's been injured, suffered that injury in the match down in Hobart against Sri Lanka. Comes back now, although I doubt if he's completely fit. Roger Harper comes back, and so too Courtney Walsh. So far as the Sri Lankans are concerned, Siddharth Vedamuni is out through injury. Brendan Krupu is out, and so too Granville de Silva, the medium pacer. In come Madagala, Asanta Demel, and Ravi Ratnayaka, the all-rounder. And it's for Norton John coming into bowl to Greenwich. Your commentators Ian Chappell and Tony Gregg.
That's pretty well timed. Asanta Demel there, just knocking that one back inside the rope. And Greenwich picks up 3. The West Indies none for 5 after 2 overs. Edge getting 3 from the last delivery, but he in fact should have got 4. That's a shot that Greenwich loves to play, the square cut. Oh, and third man, who is Uraves Karanane, has overrun the ball. Greenwich has decided to let out a bit of shaft. Picking up that in-swinger and lofting it over the infield. Good in-swinger, but Greenwich has picked it beautifully and smashed it straight over the top of the bowler. That's his 3rd boundary. The West Indies none for 30 after 8 overs.
Picked it up beautifully. As Frank Tyson pointed out, just strained to leg stump, hitting with the in-swing. Glorious shot over mid-wicket.
Greenwich is 4th.
Goes again, straight down the ground. A beautiful, controlled, lofted off drive. And Norton John, just a bit of width, he put it away.
No danger in that strip of save.
This time, what a shot off the back foot, the last delivery. He's 6 boundary and it races through cover. Haynes smiles, it's no wicket for 50. Oh, what a shot. In full control of the situation, lofting it over cover for 4.
Haynes' first boundary and handed to him on a platter.
No, they're not, Frank. They're on target. They're actually gone to 63. Well played, Gordon Greenwich. So at the end of the over, it's no wicket for 63.
Chandra de Silva, the leg spinner now, to Haynes. Very short to start with and severely dealt with. Haynes is murderous on anything short. 25 to Haynes, 49 to Greenwich. Crash. 1 biff and 1 crash. Good afternoon, Tony Cozier.
Well, what a
Chandra de Silva, the leg spinner now, to Haynes.
It's in the air. Madhugali misses it. Going back. Now that was a very difficult catch. In fact, Karanane is the fielder. Very difficult, high swirling catch. Kept his eyes on it. I think he may have heard the footsteps of Big. Score.
Well, there was nothing from the bowler there. It was certainly a sound, but Somachandra de Silva didn't follow it on. Or when I say didn't follow it on, he just gives an apologetic little lift of the arm. And certainly there was a sound.
Well, that's a very strange 6 hit. Not very often you see a 6 directly over the keeper's head. Came off the top edge, went a mile in the air, and
Oh, that's a great shot, straight down the ground. He's hit it miles. Crikey, it nearly was into the upper tier of the Bradman stand. What a beautiful shot that was, straight down. Down the wicket he comes too. That's up in the air, and is it out? No, he's dropped it. Just landing short of the man down there at deep mid-off, the Norton John. Desmond Haynes dropped in the last over, hitting one straight down the ground. That's bowled him. That one didn't bounce very much, and Gordon Greenwich looking to pull it away, having hit him straight down the ground for a beautiful 6. Being a little bit optimistic on that occasion and dragging the ball back onto his stumps. So after a let-off in the previous over for the West Indies, they lose their first wicket. An excellent opening partnership. 1 for 128 in the 28th over. 80 not out, his highest score in his 21 matches, an average of 31.76. And he's given him out. Well, they've really run between the wickets magnificently, and I suppose they were due for it to go wrong. And it's amazing too how when one wicket falls, the other tends to fall almost immediately after it. Nice piece of fielding then, but I don't think Desmond Haynes would be all that impressed with the call of Richie Richardson. He was just a little late going. Good pick up and throw, and the ball just deflecting off the stumps. Spot on throw. Umpire Bruce Martin ruling out Desmond Haynes, run out for 54. So been a very good over for Sri Lanka, and the West Indies 2 for 128.
John to Richardson.
Ball flicked away fine, lovely 4. That's beautiful placement by Richie Richardson. 2 for 141.
Richardson takes strike. DeMel is the bowler.
Glorious lofted cover drive.
So nothing really to lose here now for the West Indies. 8 wickets in hand.
Won the toss and decided to bat.
Bowled him. Beautiful delivery from DeMel, and an out of character Richards is bowled by DeMel, and the West Indies are 3 for 186.
For 30, and it's 3 for 186. Overs. And this time Richardson gets it away. That's a good shot. Gave himself a bit of room.
Yeah, it's a bad ball, and Richardson putting... He really hit that well. That's 4 runs. Beautifully hit by Logie. Looking for the short ball all the time. And De Silva Oblak.
Good shot. Beautifully played. Races away. And that's 4 more. 3 for 217. There it goes. What a great way to start. Crashed it over cover for 4. Brings up the 250 for 3. It's a big hit. My word, he's a great little player, Gus Logie. For the second successive innings, he hits one straight over the side screen into the member stand. Beautifully controlled hit.
On Tuesday night, it was Bob Hollands.
Nika. Full pitch, gets an edge. 1. Coming back for the second, it'll be very close. Stretching. Safe. Well run. 3 for 267 of 50 overs. A very good performance by the West Indies today. They won the toss and batted.
Aravinda De Silva. Good return, but great running between the wickets by Richie Richardson. He really scuttled through for that final 6.
3 for 267, Greenwich 67 and Haynes 54. 128 runs they put on in 28 overs, and they got away to a very, very brisk start. The only other wicket to fall was Viv Richards, who got a clinker from DeMel, one that came back between bat and pad, and just clipped the outside of the off stump. He was out for 30 in 40 balls. Richie Richardson 57, a return to form for him, and 47 to Gus Logie. What a good player he is in only 31 balls faced. The bowling figures for Sri Lanka, well, the bowling figures are there, but the fielding, I'm afraid, didn't back up those bowlers. There's some very slipshod stuff out there today. DeMel 1 for 50, and De Silva 1 coming in from the southern or Randwick end, and he's bowling to Amal Silva. Your commentators Bill Laurie and Frank Tyson.
Nicely played, the deflection square of the wicket. Miles Silver's had a pretty good series. There it goes, he's gone. Straight to first slip. Marshall breaks through. Gordon grenades the fieldsman.
Well, Amal Silva there loves to cut. He gets a lot of his runs through the gully. But at the same time, when the ball moves, and Gordon Greenwich, it hurt him. He was going pretty quickly, but he hung on to it.
It's a good piece of bowling. The angle and the extra pace breaks through for the West Indies. It's 1 for 12.
Silva showing a liking for the pull shot, and on that occasion he's got it away pretty well. In fact, that's got to be a boundary of some sort. It's 6 or 4 he's asking, and Desi is saying I don't know.
I think it must have hit the ropey end and come back. I think it's got to be 4, I think. I don't think it would hit the rope on the other side and come back over.
Yes, in fact, Desi showing that it hit the rope on the full, and that's what brought in pretty well. Aravinda de Silva. Haynes was never ever going to get to it. And there it is, it hits the rope on the full.
Winston Davis bowling to Ravi Ratnayake.
That'll beat Michael Holding into the fence. And this is the young man who's moving things along. He's got magnificent timing, young Aravinda de Silva.
Yes, he's good time of the ball, and he hits it hard for size too.
Appeal there from Jeffrey Dujon, and Ravi Ratnayake is gone. Comfortable catch there for the keeper, and Winston Davis picks up his first wicket.
Yes, I think it was slightly wide. It was close enough to him, I suppose, but he just didn't get his feet across. He just sort of slashed at it.
With the total at 54.
Here's Aravinda de Silva now, Holding as the bowler.
That's a good delivery there from Michael Holding, the leg cutter, and Aravinda de Silva must be in good form to edge a delivery like that.
Yes, it was a beautiful ball, really. He had to play at it. It just left him as he pushed forward. And Michael been bowling a few occasions, but he's still a marvellous bowler, really.
He certainly is that. Sri Lanka 3 for 54 in the...
And that's got him. Well, that's a big blow to the Sri Lankans. A big edge there as he moved backwards, tried to steer it away on the offside, as he does so often. And that big edge going through to Dujon, which makes this his 3rd catch. And notice how it nipped back, and so Dujon there pretty lucky to get that one, making no mistake, and once again Michael Holding causing the Sri Lankans the problems. 4 for 64. Michael Holding doing all the damage out here, and having taken 100 wickets up in Brisbane in one-day cricket, he's now being congratulated because he has taken more wickets than anyone else in one-day cricket. 104 in all. What a magnificent bowler he is.
It's a delightful stroke. Outfield a little damp from the thunderstorm, but that's not going to stop it going for 4. It's a fine blow from Roy Dias.
Oh, glorious shot. That's the best shot we've seen for the night. What a magnificent shot from Roy Dias.
That certainly was the shot.
And that's gone for 4. Third man is not fine enough. Outside edge. That's the perfect one-day shot.
To Madagala.
Well, sooner or later he was going to go for it, and that's a big one. That's a huge hit. That's gone onto the roof of the members' pavilion, just above the West Indies team area. That was a big one. Madugala now moves on to 25. And he's bowled. Well, a very disappointing way for him to go. Off the pads, sweeping. And Harper seems as embarrassed about it as anyone else. So Madugala out for 25 after that big 6 hit. In fact, seemed just to come off the bottom of the bat, into his stomach, onto his leg, and then back into the stumps. You couldn't get more hard luck than that. He was beginning to enjoy it. His first outing in a one-day international, and now Sri Lanka 4 for 124 becomes 5 for 124 in the 34th.
It's a good shot. It's well hit. Outfield a little slow after the rain, but that'll race away across the ropes.
Here he goes, Karanane hitting straight down the ground.
Roger Harper was accurate all the way through, 1 for 31. Match. And just a single behind square leg. So once again, very comfortable win to the West Indies.
Congratulations to the West Indies.
65-run victory with Richards, the acting captain tonight. This West Indies team just leading his side off the field. And the West Indies now taking all before them. 6 wins on the trot. Tonight, just a well-calculated display. Nothing really flash about it. Once again, just very good, solid cricket. That was a conclusive victory for the 67, which was a tremendous effort from Greenwich and Haynes at the start, followed by Richardson, Richards, and a real blast from that little man, Gus Logie, at the end, where he hit those 47 runs in 31 balls, and a partnership of 81 from only 9 overs between Richie Richardson and Gus Logie. And then the Sri Lankans 5 for 202, with Roy Dyer 65 not out from 102 balls, and Urave Karanane 41 from 60 balls faced. I thought Aravinda De Silva played pretty well this evening for his 21 before he got a beauty from Holding that cut away and found the outside edge for Dujon to take the catch. But the Sri Lankans, I'm afraid, weren't quite up every match because it's all money into the West Indian coffers, and it's all a tremendous confidence booster. Not so for the 2 teams on the bottom of the table there. The Australians with 2 points. Series Cup shows that West Indies have skated away with 12 points. Australia have 2, and Sri Lanka yet to get off the mark. The team changes for today. Phillips is in for Rickson in the Australian side, and Hogg comes in for Bob Holland, the leg spinner. For the Sri Lankan team, they've left out Ravi Ratnayaka, who was used as an opening batsman the other evening in Sydney, and back comes Siddharth Weta. Your commentators, Ian Chappell and Tony Greig.
Oh, and certainly a bit of movement there immediately. It hasn't hit the bat, but it's got the Sri Lankan fieldsman behind the wicket. Very excited. Nice little bit of joy there for the bowler. First ball of the morning, Tony.
Certainly. Well, Ian, good morning, everybody. Have a look at this. First up. A bit of movement there, and that, I think, flicking off the back leg.
And that's going to clear fine leg. 1 bounce into the fence. So a very aggressive start from Graham Wood. The Australians taking 8 from the first over.
For Norton John to Wood.
Oh, and there's plenty of lift there. And Graham Wood getting an awful shock as that one whacked him on the hands.
There's a little patch in the middle of the wicket there, which looked a bit damp to me earlier, and I tell you what, he was a bit lucky there.
Good shot from Graham Wood. Ball wasn't that short. And a long chase. Aravinda De Silva slides in and drags the ball back, but it doesn't actually save a run because the batsmen have got through. The Norton John at fine leg, and he won't cut that off. So a good over for Australia. Second boundary in this over to Graham Wood. And Wood really letting out a bit of shaft in this over. His 3rd boundary. in this over and his fourth of the innings.
15 off Wood.
Wood goes for it and gets it. That's the 50 partnership. Good stand, good time. Gets it away. Norton John's rather slow. That's 4 more. So the Australians into the 60s in the first 15 overs, and the crowd aware that they're taking up the attack this morning, enjoying this display. Bowled him, inside edge. Ramesh Ratnayaka doing the job that they so desperately needed. And Graham Wood once again on the threshold of a big score. Was bowled with a delivery that was short.
The first wicket is down.
Diaz de Silva to Vessels. Nice stroke, and it's going to hit those practice pitches and race away from the fielder. Never much chance of cutting off the boundary once the ball gets onto that area down there. It's rolled hard. That's a fine shot. Vessels. A good double claim for Ramesh Ratnayaka. Claimed Wood, and now Vessels. Leaves Greg Ritchie up the other end, looking on, slightly bemused.
He's troubled the left-handers with his angle, and once again, inside edge.
Gone. Must be gone. Might just have flicked forward his pad. Australia 3 down, and Diaz de Silva has struck.
Alan Border in his 100th international one-day match. Comprehensively stumped by Silva. Alan Border coming down, lunging forward. A good piece of work that. They're slumping in this 19th over. 3 for 74. Well, that's well played. Beautiful shot. Ritchie deciding to go down the ground on that occasion, uppishly, but it was nice and straight and full. Always played that in the air, down the ground. It's scored, beautifully taken. Oh, what a good catch. The Sri Lankers rushing across the ground. Madagula, the fieldsman down there, making that catch, and what a good one it was.
And what a blow for Sri Lanka. 4 wickets down now. Madugala taking that catch very well. Kept his eyes on it all the way through. Came forward and picked it up really well. Really a good catch that. Ritchie going for 13, and it's 4 for 88.
Oh, and it's misfielded now. He may well have got a bad bounce there. We'll have to try and line that up to see if we can get a view of the bad bounce, but the fielder looked absolutely.
Top spinner, and that's well timed by David Boone, bringing up a boundary. The first for David Boone. The first one for some time for Australia.
Forward to Boone and 37 to Phillips. So Diaz is the bowler. That might be welcomed, although there's a chance here. What a good catch. Wetamuni, the fielder. Roy Diaz comes on and bowls a rank long hop, and it's hit straight to deep mid-wicket, where Wetamuni has taken a very good running catch.
David Boone seizing the opportunity to get onto the back foot, but didn't pull down, pulled up. This was pretty well caught, running to his right, judged it beautifully, and that's just the breakthrough the Sri Lankans needed. Mendes taking a chance by bowling part-time bowler Diaz, and Boone's out for 34, and it's now 5 for 160. Hits it straight, well played, beautifully driven. Learning from the Vivian Richards and the Clive Worlds of this world, if you hit straight, it's pretty hard to get it.
piece of batting. Beaten by the length. DeMille saw him coming, dropped it short, and Phillips was too good for it. 5 for 177. Ratnayaka bowls now to Wayne Phillips.
Bowled him beautifully, no ball. It's all happening. Beautiful delivery, bad luck. And it ran out. No. Wow, the big crowd roars. Roomish getting the Yorker into Wayne Phillips. The crowd just realises it's a no ball. So Chart gave himself some room. Not many players can play a shot like that in the charge. He charged him and he found the gap through cover. Beautiful drive of the ball. No, he doesn't drive this one. He's York, as was Phillips, but this is not a no ball. That's a fine spell of bowling from Roomish Ratnayaka. A brilliant performance, really, under the conditions. And the crowd goes wild, and so they should. This young man, only 20 years of age, keeping the ball up to the batsman. Parts, clean bowled for 7, and it's 6 for 191.
Roy Dias bowls to Phillips.
Hurrying for the first. Now, will they come for the second? They'll have to hurry this time. Good return, but good running. What superb running between the wickets. Madhugali thought it was out.
Phillips turning correctly, his eye on the ball the whole way through, and I think he made his ground. It was touch and go. Good decision that by Mel Johnson.
In the air, DeMille down there, catch for him. He takes it eventually, tumbling down to the ground. He made rather a meal of it. There is that injury which he sustained while bowling in an earlier match, and he seems to have just wrenched Sri Lanka once more. But Phillips goes after a fine innings, and that is a crucial break for Sri Lanka because Phillips was the danger man. Plenty of time to see that for DeMille, and the ankle just going under him.
They're 7 for 204 in this 47th over.
Ratnayaka to Bennett.
It's in the air, someone going back to take the catch. Karnane takes it well, drops it. Well, he had it at first, and it just dropped out.
Looking as though he held onto it for a moment, had it, then just popped out, and Australia enabled them to pick up 2 extra runs.
Slog that full toss away, and will get 4 for it. That's a bad ball by Dias. And Lawson gave it the treatment. Knee-high full toss, just what a batsman is looking for in the closing. More pressure here on DeMille in the outfield, and he's given it up. He just gave it. Hit down to the outfield, a catch here, taken, and Lawson is out. Madhugali, the fielder, hit straight to him. Last ball from Roy Dias. And
Polling out to deep mid-wicket. So Roy Dias picking up his 3rd wicket. The part-time slow medium pace bowler, and Australia 8 for 220 in this 49th over.
McDermott faces Roomish Ratnayaka.
beautiful bowling by Rumesh. Right up there. This is an object lesson in medium pace bowling in a limited overs match.
And once again, Australia not showing too much intelligence in these final few overs. They're not picking up enough. But I think he'd feel quite satisfied picking up his 4th wicket, that of Craig McDermott, bowled without scoring. In this final over, Australia 220 for 9.
One, and they'll certainly come for a second, trying to make it. The return is not a good one, and in fact they do get the second run. So Australia finished 226. 9 for 226 of their 50 overs.
Sri Lanka needing 200.
Phillips 67, the best score, and the outstanding bowling came from Rumesh Ratnayaka, 4 for 37, and I thought Diaz de Silva, the leg spinner, bowled very well also, 10 overs. Commentators, Tony Gregg and Bill Laurie.
That's well played. That's very well played. It's quick down there. Will McDermott cut it off. What a magnificent bit of fielding. Diving full length down on that boundary, having chased it perhaps for 30 yards. Oh, well played. That's a lovely shot. McDermott won't get this one. Beautiful timing, square of the wicket. 4 runs.
Possibly no ball. An extra delivery, but beautifully played. Mal Silver.
Mooney.
And that's got to be close. Yes, Mel Johnson has taken his time and eventually decided that Wetamuni was in front. That ball from Rodney Hogg staying down a little.
Also playing right back on his stumps and playing across the line somewhat. The umpire took some time to give it, but not only being pegged back now, but losing a wicket. So Sri Lanka suffering a blow there with the loss of Wetamuni for 17. 1 for 38.
Madagala faces Hogg. Lots of shouting and feeling going on out there, even from wicketkeeper Wayne Phillips. And it's gone for 4 overthrows, 5 runs in all. Over. Safely held. Rodney Hogg, it got down fairly low, round about shin height. He's got a pretty good pair of hands, Rodney Hogg. He's seen a lot of catches dropped off him this summer. Made no mistake with that one for the benefit of the bowler Simon O'Donnell. Don't the kid.
Silver's luck finally runs out. He's out for 23, caught a deep fine leg. 2 for 52 the score.
Bennett to Dias.
I think it's very important in limited over cricket that as soon as a spinner...
Madagala faces O'Donnell.
It's in the air and beats border. That's 4. Every now and again, you get a 4 away like that, certainly relieves the pressure on the batsman. And those Lions... Well, that's in the air, going down there. This could be out. Wood comes in, doesn't quite get there. Get 2 for that. It looks as if just for a second there that Wood may just make it. Desperate effort by him.
O'Donnell.
What's in the air? He's gone. Straight down mid-off throat. Alan Border. Well, that's a very big breakthrough that for the Australians. Simon O'Donnell, the bowler, and the crowd loving it.
Well, a guy who's been pegged down in the last couple of overs, looking for the off drive. He picked up a bowler out for 24, and Sri Lanka 3 for 86.
Well, what a shot. That's a magnificent shot. Played away on the up, through the gap at extra cover. There's not much of a gap there either, I tell you. Beautifully played. And that'll take a little bit of pressure off them this over.
And that's just where you don't want to bowl to Dooley. He really is a marvellous timer of the ball.
And he really loves that ball when it's wide and short.
That's beautifully hit. He's found the gap. And 8 runs coming off that over as Sri Lanka press towards victory. That's placed beautifully. It'll get under the sight board for 4. He really is a powerful striker of the ball, the Sri Lankan captain.
And he's gone over the top into the hands of the mid-off fielder, and that's the wicket that Australia wanted. couldn't quite contain himself. Mishit, comfortable catch to Vessels at mid-off. And at a crucial stage, Australia make the breakthrough.
Well, apart from the dismissal, he's not going to be very happy about that for another reason, that they were coasting along Sri Lanka, doing it easily. And now the pressure, that's exactly what I mean. 4 for 150. Aravinda de Silva is the batsman, Hogg is the bowler.
He's a long way out, and he's gone. That's an important wicket. Roy Das run out. The return hitting the stumps. And that is an absolutely crucial blow for Sri Lanka's hopes. Their best batsman run out. Greg Ritchie pinging the stumps and out by a long way.
Had to hit the 61.
So here's Vessels to Aravinda de Silva. And that's peeled off the third man. Those are important runs off the outside edge. Might just be 4 of them. In fact, 4 of them.
Bennett to Karanane.
It's gone for it. It's a straight hit. There's a man coming around, quickly getting to it. He doesn't make it. Misfields, and what a time to misfield and give away 2 bonus runs. Well, Greg Ritchie on that occasion made the ground okay, got to it. He's charged him and he's got hold of it. What a great hit. That's going for 6. That's a beautiful hit. Down Aravinda de Silva, charged a great fast bowler and hit him straight over mid-off. What a glorious shot.
Well, we've seen the young fellow put a couple of the West Indies over for 6 in this competition. One was last Saturday.
Bowled him, Jeff Lawson, the Yorker, just what they needed. A fine delivery. Karanane hitting over that delivery, not putting bat to ball. And that really puts the pressure on the lower order Sri Lankan batsmen.
Well, when you're in trouble, the place to go is that leg stump. Try and pick it up with the Yorker, and that's exactly what the 16 bowled by Lawson. And with Sri Lanka needing 31 runs to win in this 45th over.
Got an edge, and it'll be 4. My word, he went for that again, trying to hit it over cover. Raced away for 4. 12th man, Marlon von Hart, delighted there in the dressing room. Great value. Anything could happen with De Silva not on strike. He's got it down. Full shot. It's a single. Almost a catch to Bennett mid-on.
So 3 runs needed.
Charge, he's got a top edge, there's a man down there, it's Rawson, he's a goer, can he get to it? It's 6, what a way to win a match, a top edge for 6. Aravinda de Silva, the hero, trying to hoik McDermott down the ground, got a top edge and it flew all the way, the 70 metres to the spine leg boundary, and in the static dressing room, Sri Lanka win their first Benson and Hedges World Series Cup match in a good performance by 4 wickets.
Impressive. A good performance all the way through by those batsmen. Ramesh Ratnayaka, the only one not to make double figures, and yet he shared a stand of 34 unbroken with Aravinda de Silva at the end from only 5 overs and in 19 minutes. Rodney Hogg was the best of the Australian bowlers. Quite superb out there today. 10 overs, 2 for 31 in that losing score. Ramesh Ratnayaka was made man of the match for his performances. He bowled extremely well, 4 for 37, and then shared that last wicket stand with Aravinda de Silva. Now, the Benson Hedges World Series Cup table, the points after this match today, 12 to the West Indies, 2 each to Australia and Australia. Murray Bennett has gone to 12th man, and into the team comes the young Victorian batsman and very good fielder, Dean Jones. That's a good batting side, but they may have a little bit of a problem there finding the extra bowler. It looks as though Vessels and Border will have to do the job there of the 5th bowler to take up to 50 overs. The West Indians are playing the same team as the one which defeated us taking strike, and it's Ian Chappell and Bill Lawry.
That's a good shot. Greenwich finding the gap nicely. And a long chase for Rodney Hogg to get him loosened up this morning, and Haynes looking for the fourth, realising that Hogg hasn't got a strong arm. That's well run, Hogg. And they're on the pads too often, the Australian bowlers, and they're suffering for it. Once again, Haynes and Greenwich charging through, and they'll pick up 4 runs.
Yes, the massive Melbourne cricket ground enables...
It's a good shot from Greenwich. Jove, you've only got to stray slightly in line, and Greenwich takes full toll of it.
Yes, you can't give too much praise for Greenwich and Haynes.
Can't afford to bowl there, although it almost got Lawson a wicket. Just clearing Kepler Vessels
Out there, having scored 26 of 35 balls. Oh, what a shot. He's murdered that. Just short outside off stump, not bothered to run. Always hit that high in the air on the leg side, way down towards square leg. One bounce into the crowd. And that's the 50 partnership in just 11 overs. And the 8. Oh, that's gone up in the air. Someone's got a call for it. Boone's underneath it. He said mine. Will he catch it? It's very high. He's dropped it. My goodness, I don't believe it. It went miles up in the air, but he had all the time in the world to take it. Well, what a blow. It never rains. But Boone hardly had to move an inch, had his eyes on it the whole way, and tried to catch it with that cup position underneath the chin and down it. His bowlers. That's out. He's got him. Big edge there. Rodney Hogg has struck. He's looked dangerous in that area. The cut shot there from Greenwich, and nicely taken by Phillips. And a good comeback in the last couple of overs by the Australian attack, and proving very worthwhile, keeping them pegged down. That catch from Gordon Greenwich just getting through to Wayne in the 14th over. West Indies 1 for 56.
O'Donnell to Haynes.
Just to his left, it might just have carried. Difficult chance to Kepler Vessels, low to his left. And Vessels' crouch. That's in the air. Someone's catch. O'Donnell will take it. He does now.
And the crowd erupts. Good one, Hank. Local boy on his ground, talking to his Victorian team colleague, Dean Jones, as that rather agricultural swipe from Desmond Haynes.
Vessels to Vivian Richards.
And that's Richards' first runs, down to third man. Goes all the way for 4. So an expensive first over from Kepler Vessels. In the air, down to Lawson. He drops it. Not easy, but not often you see Jeff Lawson put down a catch. And that was certainly catchable. Whipped away by Richards, and it could. You would expect Jeff Lawson to take that catch 9 times out of 10.
O'Donnell to Viv Richards.
Hammered back at him. Completes the over from O'Donnell. Well bowled, just the 1 run coming from it. Richie Richardson in at the number 3 position. And that's the second time that Vessels has strayed down the leg side and been swept away by Richardson for 4. Can't afford to give these batsmen room down the leg side. 2 for 82 now.
It's a beautiful shot, splitting the field and beating 2 fielders into the boundary. To Viv Richards.
He strays down the leg side, and as so often happens with Viv Richards, it costs.
That's 4. Leg stump again. and 4 runs again.
100 comes up for the...
Richardson faces O'Donnell. Won't see too many better catches than that. There's no slip there to help him. But Wayne Phillips, injured finger and all, has taken a blinder.
Marvellous catch there from Wayne Phillips. Hasn't done a lot of... Simon O'Donnell picking up his second wicket. And the West Indies 3 for 103 in the 25th over.
There we go. Donald had finished his follow-through when that whistled back past him. Fabulous shot. 3 for 121. It's to be Rodney Hogg again from the members' end. This should be out. Well, timed was Greg Ritchie.
And he was very, very slow getting into position. Sure, the sun there, but it's there 365 days of every year. You've got to make allowances for it.
Well, Viv's been negative all morning. It was captain's call. He refused to go. There was a run in that. For some reason or other, Vivian Richards not answering the call, and Clive Lloyd is stranded, and what a breakthrough. Disappointed Richards, but it was his captain's call.
As we mentioned, Bill, we've seen a couple of Australians. So with the West Indies captain out for 16, run out, and in this 30th over, Australia in a good position, 4 for 138.
Vessels to Logie.
In the air, over the top. They break the shackles. Hogg's putting in the big ones, but that brings up 4. 7 off the over, and Rodney Hogg not able to cut off that lofted drive, and it's 4 for 1.
Well, that's a magnificent shot. Ritchie didn't look all that interested in that one. I'm not too sure he really had time. It was smashed away through extra cover.
Richards faces McDermott.
And that one down the ground. This could be out. Hogg's moving around. He'll catch it. Oh, he's dropped it. They have got the dropsies. They've dropped 4 now for sure, and there was a half chance back to the bowler as well. No way in the world you can win, especially against these guys if you drop them so regularly.
Position well and straight through, getting both hands to it. Regulation outfield catch, and just to rub salt in the wound, it rolled into the boundary for 4.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Hogg desperately lunging out of that down there, but not able to cut it off. Richards plays that shot over the top of extra cover magnificently.
During the summer, that shot figured very prominently.
Oh, he's got him. They've caught one. And it's David Boone. Well, that'll soften the blow for him a little bit. A huge cheer here as Vivian Richards at last is taken in the outfield.
Hit it hard, but straight to the fielder. Boone didn't have time to think about that one as he did with the previous one which he dropped, which was in the air for an hour. That one came hard and straight to him, and he clutched it. Richards out for 74. The West Indies 5 for 201.
Hogg to Logie. We've seen him hit a couple of enormous sixes in this competition so far, but nothing better than that off one of the fastest bowlers around. That was phenomenal. 5 for 229. It's a great shot. He's a terrific little batsman, Gus Logie. Hasn't had many opportunities, but every time he's come out, his face is Hogg. Phillips again. Marvellous. Caught one earlier on, Richie Richardson. There was a super catch. That one he was going the wrong way, came back, recovered, and took a great catch for Rodney Hogg.
Well, that really was a superb piece of keeping. 15 degrees and Phillips caught it. Dujon out for 23, 6 for 252.
It's a big hit. It's beaten the man out at long on. And Logie's gone in this final over. A brilliant innings from the little man. He's out, caught border bowled Vessels.
An exchange. 10 runs from this over hit. Logie out for 72, 7 for 268.
Holding faces Vessels. One out of 2.
And this is not a replay. There's quite obviously Border, who pouched Gus Logie a moment ago, puts Holding down. Last ball.
This time it goes out to long on. That's good running between the wickets. And that total of 7 for 271 equals the highest ever made by the West Indies in this Benson Hedges World Series Cup. There have been higher totals. Australia made 302 against New Zealand in one match down here on the same ground. But that is the highest for the West Indies. 1 was their final score. They gave Viv Richards 4 chances. No wonder he made 74 from 61 balls. And Gus Logie, a real little pocket powerhouse, that fellow. 72 from 64 balls faced. And the Australian bowling figures, O'Donnell was the best, 2 for 40, and bowled the best I think he has in this competition so far. Rodney Hogg, although he looks expensive there, had one very good. And here's Marshall now bowling the first over to Graham Wood. No runs on the board. And here's Ian Chappell.
It's well hit, and it's just in front of Winston Davis at fine leg. So Graham Wood is going to take the challenge up to the fast bowlers.
It's imperative that the Australians get off to a good start.
That's well hit. Malcolm Marshall making the mistake of digging one in anger after having been hooked to fine leg. This time he finishes up in the gutter behind backward square leg. In the air and well taken. Gordon Greenidge is the man in the gully. He's hurt himself, but he's taken the catch. And once again, having problems with the leg. It looks to be around about the knee on this occasion. Or is it perhaps the groin area that they're going for?
A eventful piece of cricket in more ways than one. Wayne Phillips, a quicker delivery from Joel Garner, catching him, squaring by Garner.
Marshall to Jones.
Jones going over the top, or intending to go over the top, and all he's done is hold out at mid-on. So the tactics of the Australians must be coming into question as the second wicket falls.
Well, the attitude of the Australians has been right, but it hasn't been sensible attitude. Dean Jones looking for the pull shot. It just wasn't on. It was on him far too quickly.
He's gone, caught behind. So that's the third wicket to go, with Wood being beaten by Marshall's pace, snicking it to Dujon. Straightforward catch, and Australia's decline continues.
And the West Indian camp break into ecstatic cheers. Clever bowling by Malcolm Marshall into the batsman, The result, Wood out for 9, 3 for 21.
Lovely shot. Well, that's brought relief for the Australians, brought the crowd back to life. That was a superb shot. And he's now really working up pace. And the badminton is fielding, very uncharacteristic by Michael Holding at the third man. Went through his mind to stop it with his boot. Then he... Nice shot. Worked it well off the legs. And he's going to come for the second. And he'll have to hurry, and he doesn't hurry enough. That's gone. That was a silly second run. O'Donnell trusted himself against the throwing arm of Michael Holding, who usually bowls the ball back in.
Well, no worse, there is none. Bad cricket this. Holding, whipping that ball in, bowling it in. And O'Donnell, thinking that he was a 100-metre sprinter, finding that his capacity was limited to something like 99 metres, failing to make the crease. And O'Donnell looking promising, out for 11, 4 for 34 Australia now.
Davis to Border. Holding to Border. That's one way to get round it.
Well, that is a magnificent shot from Alan Border. It very nearly took both the bowler and the umpire down that end with it. 4 for 50.
It's a good shot from Border. 3 good shots in the last 2 overs from the Australian captain. Straight drive off Holding, and then a
68. Border on 32, Boone on 4. That's a nice shot, right into the gap, down to the boundary for 4. That'll please David Boone, he needed a boundary.
It's a good shot. Once again, the placement was there and good timing. So David Boone really starting to get things rolling. It's 4 for 79.
Richards to Boone.
It's well placed. Gets onto the practice wickets and absolutely races into the backward square leg boundary. It's a good shot. Beats Richie Richardson at mid-off. And Desmond Haynes can't make it from deep mid-on. So the boundary's starting to flow for David Boone.
The Australian batsman.
And once again, Richards has beaten the keeper. That'll run away into the boundary. 4 byes.
Richard pitching in the rough, enabling Boone to try and sweep. He didn't make contact.
Oh, and it's hit off stump. A disappointed David Boone even had time to look around and see it happen. So Viv Richards has broken a very important partnership for Australia.
He certainly has. David Boone was looking good. This off stump, and Richards breaks through, and Australia again will struggle at 5 for 115. Alan Border scoring almost today.
It's in the air and it's going to be caught. Garner's there. He's got him. No ball called. Oh, there's a break. That's the sort of luck that Australia needs.
That was a very early call, and I got the impression that Alan Border went after it because it was a no ball. I think he picked that up. And that's it. Greg Ritchie playing an awful shot, bowled by Winston Davis off the last delivery of that over. And what an awful shot.
It's Ritchie coming down the wicket, backing away a little bit, trying to do something in desperation there and getting his off. Australia 6 for 120.
Holding to Border.
Oh, that's a lovely shot by Alan Border. Once again, giving himself just a little bit of room and smashing that one through the extra cover field. A lovely boundary. 6 for 143.
Richards to Vessels.
The board ticking over now. Not at sufficient rate to really trouble the West Indies. They'll need a few boundaries, such as that one.
Good shot by Vessels. I think he's decided to put the sweep shot on Vivian Richards every time he gets.
But he should have hung on. And that's gone. Back onto the stumps in quite similar fashion to the dismissal of David Boone. Richards having some luck today.
Yes, and he looked as if he pretty well enjoyed it too. And Duchamp also thought it was quite funny. It looked to me as if there was a fair bit of inside edge there off the pad. No, bad it was. Up in the air and came down on the second bounce. 63.
Holding to Border. That's out. Viv Richards takes the catch. Alan Border is gone, the top scorer for Australia. And it's 8 for 169.
Alan Border, the Lone Ranger in the Australian side, finally falling. Missed caught and bowled by Richards when he was 60, and Richards has his revenge. This time, the catch does not go to ground, and 1 run later, Alan Border is out. 8 for 160.
Almost gets a wicket, but it cost him 4 runs. It goes over Clive Lloyd's headed square leg. 4, and the big crowd appreciating this. Good on you, Clive Lloyd. Get the 53,000 fans a little bit of fun at the end.
A little bit of a pace man.
Gets hoiked. 4, and the crowd love him.
And he's bowling to McDermott.
Run out, the last ball, and the West Indies win by 65 runs in the count at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. In front of 53,000 people, they batted well to score 271, and the Australians struggled to 9 for 206. Alan Border, the only batsman with a worthwhile score of 61. Once again, Keith Stackpole, the West Indians.
Dominated by Alan Border, 61 in 80 balls. And David Boone, 34 in 59. He started very slowly again today and then accelerated. But the partnership between those two, Border and Boone, realised 81 in 17 overs. 21 to Vessels. He and Boone were both unlucky in that they were bowled by Richards playing on. Lawson, 18 not out, and McDermott out to that pointless run out at the end for 19. He struck 1 or 2 nice blows towards the close of play. The West Indian bowlers, 2 for 29, Marshall. A wicket to Garner, 1 to Holding, 1 to Davis, and 2 with 14 points. It's a question of which team is going to run second in this 3-horse race. And the Australians now have their 2 points, but the Sri Lankans have 2 and have a game in hand. Man of the match here at the MCG today was Vivies. Have gone on to 14. Australia and Sri Lanka have 2 each, but the Australians are not looking too hot on the matches played. Now today, Steve Smith and Dean Jones are in the side. I think that will improve the fielding. They're both very, very sharp in the field, quick across the ground, and they have great throwing arms. The team cards, the Australians, well, Murray Bennett is 12th man again. Smith has come into the side for Greg Ritchie, and all the fielding should be sharpened up a little bit, certainly in the first 15 overs, by the presence of those 2 very, very good young men. The Sri Lankans, they are playing the same side, and why wouldn't they, as the one which defeated Australia at the Melbourne Cricket Ground last Saturday. We pick up play now in the second over. McDermott is the bowler to Amal Silva, the Sri Lankan wicketkeeper. Your commentators Ian Chappell and Keith Stackpole.
Amal Silva playing the pull shot from just the second delivery he received. A no ball from Craig McDermott. No ball once again from Craig McDermott, and that's a good chuck, and he's on the way. Run out from a no ball. That is cricketing stupidity. But let's not forget.
On the back foot, there was no need really to go for the single, and a beautiful piece of fielding by Dean Jones, coming in very quickly, and he was out by a yard or so. Something that's been lacking in the Australian team during this competition. Some good fielding, and that then certainly set the standard for the day. So what a breakthrough for Australia. Run out off a no ball in the second over. So Mel Silver out for 2.
Lawson to Wedamuni.
Oh, and he's got him inside the edge onto the stumps, but on this occasion it's a no ball. So I guess it's 1-1 now for Australia and Sri Lanka in regard to no balls.
Well, no balls.
Edged and straight through the 2 slip fieldsmen there, Kepler Wessels and David Boone.
And this is Hogg's first over. And it's up in the air, and that's it. Hogg strikes immediately. Well, what an encouraging beginning for Rodney Hogg. Mudagala out for 7, and the crowd erupt. There's been a new spirit here in this Australian side this afternoon after that rather dismal performance. It completes an easy catch, so Hogg strikes first ball. Mudagala out for 7, 2 for 23.
So they have struggled.
Oh, it's an edge and it flies away past Phillips. Well, that certainly went very quickly off the bat. Phillips was quite quick to miss. Oh, and there's a big appeal. He's got him. Wessels has struck. Roy Dyas, who's played so well for the Sri Lankans, out caught behind of the bowling of Kepler Wessels.
Well, that's a real bonus for the Australians. For Kepler Wessels to have got the best of the Sri Lankan. Good catch by Phillips, standing up, giving with it. Wessels slow medium, and that's a big blow for Sri Lanka. 3 for 54 in the 20th over with Dyas out for 19.
Pretty aggressive batsman, and he's out there now to face Kepler Wessels. Pretty aggressive appeal there from Jones, but clearly he bowled him. My goodness, what an over for Wessels. He's the 5th bowler here. Well, it may not have worked last time round, it's working this time.
Alan Border was absolutely elated when Wessels dismissed Roy Dyas' second ball. Now he bowls Siddharth Redimuni, and Sri Lanka are in enormous trouble. That was a good delivery too. Well bowled, had Redimuni all over the place. Hit the leg stump, 4 for 55.
Australia on top today. 23 overs. Sri Lanka 4 for 60. It's a nice little edge. Races away for 4 runs. He's gone for that one. Hogg's coming around. Will he make it? No, he doesn't. Gilbert Mendes, not frightened to loft the ball and hit it with tremendous power. It's 4 for 97, Wessels the bowler. And he goes after him again. He hits that beautifully down the ground. Lawson won't get it. Brilliant shot, the shot of the day. Glorious off drive.
And the 100 coming up for the Sri Lankans. Good recovery.
That's hit very powerfully, and bisecting Hogg and McDermott, the 2 men deep on the offside, and that brings up a very well-made 50 for the Sri Lankan captain.
50 runs, congratulations, Duleep Mendes, shades of Hobart when he took on the West Indies attack and absolutely massacred Viv Richards. 4 fours and 53 balls.
That's well hit. Just a couple of bounces and over the rope at deep mid-on. He's hit particularly straight today, the Sri Lankan captain. And just wide of the keeper on this occasion. And Rodney Hogg can't cut it off. So valuable runs coming in Simon O'Donnell's last over. Aravinda on 34. And that's well placed, and this time it will beat Smith to the boundary. And the 100 partnership comes up, and what a valuable one it's been for Sri Lanka.
Good shot. Well, Jeff Lawson's frustrated there. He wouldn't have pounded that into the dirt otherwise. But it's not a good idea against these fellas. They hook and pull pretty well. 4 for 183. Hogg to Dooley Mendes. Safe and 4. It's a good shot. Unorthodox, but brilliant. It's on 49. And now he's on 53.
But what a crucial partnership this has been for the Sri Lankans. The fledglings certainly are flying high. If you like, the lion is roaring. And Aravinda de Silva, this 20-year-old who helped lead Sri Lanka to their memorable victory at the MCG over Australia, is here now with his first half-century in the tournament.
4 for 194, 80 to Mendes. He's been quite brilliant out there. Aravinda de Silva has played beautifully as well. There's Jeff Lawson. Phillips. And the partnership is broken. My word, what a relief that'll be to the Australians out there. Philip Mendes was just racing towards 100. And this crowd was...
Mistake there by Phillips, and look at the look on his face. A great sigh of relief. But what an innings this was. Magnificent performance by him. 5 for 194.
McDermott to Rumesh Ratnayaka.
Oh, what a shot. Straight down the ground. He's not bothering to run. One bounce, two bounces over the rope. Well, it was beautifully struck, and struck right into the gap as well.
Brings up the 200, Rumesh Ratnayaka coming to the crease and hitting with the full face of the bat.
He's bowled him. Off the pads. McDermott just a little bit quick for him there. It was good line. Pretty well pitched up. He tried to flick it away on the leg side and deflected off his pad straight into the stumps.
Well, Rumesh trying to do the work that De Silva should be doing. He's hit a glorious 4 down the ground. This time he's going to whip it over mid-wicket somewhere. Got a bit of pad. Beaten by pace. And it's a very good wicket for McDermott. Scored 7 runs very quickly. He's bowled for 7. And it's 6 for 204.
McDermott again. Oh, that's hit away in the air, square of the wicket. What a beautiful shot. One bounce over the boundary. Well, the Lions' flags are flying down there, the Lions of Sri Lanka.
And Aravinda de Silva, whoever he's faced.
9 off the over so far. That'll make it. Oh, he's hit it across and he's hit the rope. So 13 off the over, 6 for 225.
Having a wonderful series, this young player, and a beautiful timer of the ball.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. He's backed away, hit him right off the meat of the bat, straight to backward point. What a beautiful shot.
He doesn't care whether it's Hogg, McDermott, Lawson. He goes for it. He's a key player.
Oh, what a shot. Beautiful shot. Once again, he's backed away. This time he's hit it on the ground, straight through the gap, down to the boundary. Never any doubt.
For 55 off 20 overs, it looked like 120 maximum. It's a great fight back. A final delivery, McDermott to De Silva.
He's hooked it away. It's going down towards Kepler Vessels. That's 10 off the over. And so Sri Lanka 6 for 240. A tremendous performance this. Their captain Mendes made 80 and Aravinda de Silva making 81. 4 for 55 at one stage. And here they are now completing their innings, having made 200.
Wicket had gone down in the 26th over. 139 they put on in just 24 overs. The early batsmen out. Wetamuni 21, Amal Silva 2, Madagala 7 and Dias 19. Mendes 80 in just 79 balls faced. My word, he's got a tremendous record of runs scored against balls faced. And Aravinda de Silva 81 not out. 6 for 240. And the bowling figures for Australia. Lawson bowled very well and so too did Rodney Hogg. O'Donnell didn't bowl badly, although he was a bit expensive towards the end. And McDermott and Vessels were expensive. It's the first over. Assunta DeMel is bowling now to Graham Wood. Your commentators, Tony Cozier and Frank Tyson.
Assunta DeMel looking determined. And Wood hitting it in the air, and he's gone. Second ball. As Graham Wood tried to get that ball away on the offside, and the Sri Lankan crowd erupt. A very, very lax sort of stroke. The ball pitching outside leg stump, an ambitious stroke on the part of Wood to try and get it away over the leg side. He lost it to mid-on.
So Australia have had the worst possible start.
Number 3 for Australia, Kepler Wessels.
So 1 wicket without a run on the board.
Kepler Wessels, normally the opening batsman for Australian Test match.
First bounce. Kepler Wessels very strong outside that off stump, picking it up and putting it just inside the boundary. For 4, had to be lifted off.
Norton John lifts up a hopeful hand. Australia continue to live dangerously. 1 for 23.
And that's well hit. Over the head of the short extra cover. 4 runs to Kepler Wessels.
Well, my word, it looks as though Kepler Wessels is out to silence his critics tonight.
To Smith.
Oh, he's gone, caught down the leg side. The in-swinger just touched, and the keeper Silva in position to take the catch. So Sri Lanka have struck a second blow here with Steve Smith, caught Silva, bowled John, and it's 2 for 29 in the 6th over.
Well, it's just like carnival time in Trinidad with all those flags waving in the outer. Smith's weight. Catch taken, Smith out for 4, 2 for 29. DeMel still getting a little bit of movement. Seems to have fully recovered from that ankle injury of his. He wasn't too assured before the beginning of this match.
Certainly assured on that shot. There's nothing probing about that. That was the Alan Border we saw at Monaco Oval in Canberra yesterday.
Day competition in international circles, surpassing Greg Chappell's record. And it's through again. Well, Alan Border said at the beginning of this game as he tossed he would prefer to chase runs and bat second.
And it's all been happening.
100% strike rate, 9 runs from 9 balls.
4 runs. Half volley outside the off stump, and Border pounced on it. Beautifully hit. Put no effort into that shot whatever. And it came off the middle of the bat and raced away for 4. What a glorious shot. Alan Border is in top form here tonight at the SCG. He was yesterday at Monaco Oval.
And Border playing as though it not only his and Australia's life depends on this innings. And 9 runs coming in that over as Alan Border is proving unstoppable. He's absolutely thrashing the ball through the offside. It's 2 for 66. And as the 50 stand for Australia, and the 8th 4 for Alan Border. In this form. And this time he goes over the top of point, bring up his 9th 4. And by Jove, Assunta DeMel has given him far too much room outside the off-stump.
Head. In the air, Wetamoone just short of him. What a great attempt.
The ball actually ended up bouncing way short. He made a good effort. It's very difficult, actually, to dive forward like that to a ball that's going to pitch just short of you. Good effort by Wetamoone. He's just been faced.
And this time Wessels has picked the gap. That's good cricket from Kepler Wessels. He saw what almost happened to Alan Border and placed that beautifully.
Yes, and it's certainly good to see Wessels in this aggressive mood. He's got him, he stumped him, it's worked. They have planned that one, and have a look at the jubilation. They obviously have talked about it. And it's worked again. Border stumped down the leg side exactly the same way as it happened in Melbourne.
And it's 3 for 119 in 26.
That's hiked away down to mid-wicket, but under that one, it pitches in the turf, but will go to the boundary just for 4. Sliced away down behind point, finishes off the over with a 4. 3 for 165.
It's the run rate required, 4.5. The current run rate is 5.
And that was well played. It was wide, it was slower. He was in position early and waited for it and deliberately square cut it. That was a really good shot.
Carinane now to Wessels. One heart. Good catch. Good fielder. 187 the score. Loss of 4 wickets. Out, LBW. Playing right across that. Vinod strikes now. Sri Lanka gathering around Vinod because they sense there's a chance here. The Australians are ahead on run rate, but they've now lost 5 wickets. They still have quite a few runs to make for victory.
So the lion flag waves as Boone there tries to run that ball away on the leg side. He wasn't too far forward. He was about level with the popping crease. Dead in front. Randall gives David Boone out. And the pressure now is mounting for Australia. 5 for 195.
Australia 30 ahead on the comparison at the same time. Dias comes in now to Phillips. Very loose to start with. A gift for Wayne Phillips.
And there's no one in the deep on the offside. The outfield has been reasonably slow here at the SCG. Pat Jones has just enough power.
Nayaka.
Slower ball, and Phillips goes over the top of covers. The Australians haven't found any trouble in reaching the boundary tonight.
Wayne Phillips, very good striker of the ball. Get on the up with plenty of...
Oh, and he's got him. Once again, the Yorker. And he's bowled that pretty well in the last couple of games. And that one swung just a little bit. But Wayne Phillips hitting inside the delivery.
Very good competitor, Ramesh Ratnayaka. The pressure's really on. Been hammered over mid-off for 4. Old for 19 and 6 for 231.
DeMel to O'Donnell.
And well caught. Very well caught there in the short cover position by Carinane. And Simon O'Donnell won't be too thrilled about that, with Australia just needing 3 runs for victory.
Excellent catch. Uwe's Carinane, short cover. Is well struck, diving to his left and taking a very good catch indeed. 7 for 238.
Ratnayaka to Jones.
And that's victory for Australia. Appropriately, Dean Jones brings it up with a boundary. And the Australians winning by 3 wickets. And with 2 overs and 5 balls in hand.
Great victory that for Alan Border's side, and what a good game of cricket it was. The Sri Lankans played well, but it tells its own story. 3 men there, Kepler Wessels 82, Alan Border 57, one of the best innings we've seen from Border this year, following on the 114 he made against West Indies for the Prime Minister's 11 yesterday, and Dean Jones 62 from 70 balls faced, and he fielded brilliantly as well, 7 for 242. Wayne Phillips kept the impetus going there with 19 from 20 balls faced. A fine partnership between Wessels and Border, 90 from just 20 overs. The bowling figures, DeMel was very expensive, 8 overs for 53, even though he took 2 wickets. Vinorden John was the pick of the bowlers. I thought 2 for 35 from 10 overs. And Rumesh Ratnayake, I'm disappointed he didn't bowl out his full 10. Might have been a tactical error there. 1 for 37. And DS De Silva, Somachandra De Silva, the leg spinner, I can't work out why he was bowling to a leg side field and bowling to left-handers round about leg stump. And Kepler Wessels, for his batting performance, was made man of the match. The points table in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup, the West Indies have 14, Australia now have gone up to 4, and Sri Lanka.